hope this will sort the men from the boys out. This is enough of a wet track to be quite interesting as we see the bikes on the miniature road racing, the bucket racing class go into turn one. So we've seen them in the dry, and now this is officially enough to be a wet weather circuit, I would say. There's quite a bit of rain coming down now, but yeah, the thing is with most of these bucket races, a lot of these bucket races, they'll be around doing a lot of racing all the way during the year, and used to damp tracks, usually on kart facilities, just because of the small size of them, and it's really conducive to motorcycle racing. Now, I do owe people a bit of an apology. Streeter Motorcycles is a local Suzuki dealer. Thank you, Neil Ritchie, one of our greatest commentator in New Zealand. He has told me that Streeter, I was trying to figure out which bike shop was which, and I'm sort of going back in my mind thinking I haven't actually been out and about in the countryside driving around like I used to drive around, and fielding somewhere. I just usually come into town and then go straight to my sister's place, and I think I might have mentioned it might have been the local Harley dealer, but it is indeed Streeter Motorcycles, a Suzuki dealer in Fielding here. So thanks, Neil. They're watching over in Pai too. I've got the big screen on and watching today's racing, and no doubt we'll be watching tomorrow. I don't know how much work's going to be getting done, but I often do that myself. I've got the commentary going on in the background. As a commentator, it sort of means enough to me to not have to look at the screen too much. You hear what's going on, but let's get back onto the racetrack. Kieran O'Neill is leading. He won a race earlier on, so it looks like he can run in the wet and the dry. But I'm not too sure whether he's still actually leading. In fact, he is indeed on the 18 bike. It is Clinton Durham there in second spot. Carlos Thompson was in third in the last lap, and wait for it to come around. In fact, Carlos Thompson's dropped a bit. George Vanel goes across in lead position. Adrian Carr. Carlos Thompson might be the man that I saw on the first lap on the green bike down the start-finish straight, or the second lap, with his hand in the air, signifying there was bike problems, and I can see a bike in pit lane there. So what we get on our screen here is that number will just drop as bikes pass him. So that's got to be Carlos Thompson parked up down that front straight. So the fastest lap at the moment is a 51.374, and it'll be interesting to get some of the lap times from the last actual miniature road race to see what the difference between dry and wet weather competition is, and see how much effect that water out on the track has got. So 2:39 for the first lap, and now we're down to 51 second for the first of the flying laps. That's for Kieran O'Neill, and yeah, so O'Neill, Durham, George Vanel, Adrian Carr, Tyler Walters in fifth spot. Then we've got Nixon and Sloane Frost in sixth and seventh. James Patrick, Corbin Robinson, Theo Manley, Nobby Clark, Paul Emerson, Carlos Thompson, and Ryan Emerson. And that's the 14 out of 15 people there. Jordan Walters there. Looks like a DNS. So we've got two bikes there. Carlos, in fact, one now. Carlos Thompson has only done one lap, and that'll be that green bike that's pushing along the pit lane. So better get back out onto the start-finish line, and well, actually, I was looking out onto the track, and I can see number 18, Kieran O'Neill, has gone through there in first place there. Number 78 whipped through there in second spot. What's happening with the lap times? The lap times slowed by nearly half a second out in the front. The sun's back out now, so there's enough of a wind there, and maybe a little enough of the temperature that this track should dry out reasonably quickly. In fact, I'm looking out on the infield. It doesn't even seem to be affected by the rain. Certainly I'm looking down at pit lane as well, so I might just try and grab a sheet of paper which will tell me the lap times and see whether that's got much effect. In saying that, the way the wind seems to have increased here at Manfeild can have quite a bit of difference in the lap times as well, especially with the small motorcycles without the power to bite through that wind. And they've got a long front straight there, not the full length of the front straight that normal Manfeild runs, but they've got that, and then they've got a tailwind through there, so that's going to help along. And through the infield, it's a matter of winding up for that turn 2, then down for turn 3, and yeah, so the wind can play a part as well. So I don't think we're going to get really, even if we look at the lap times, we're going to get a true reflection of what's happening in terms of the wet track. Looks like we've got two bikes down in the Toyota corner. I'm not even going to speculate who it is. I certainly think two white bikes down there in turn one, so something going on there. The yellow flag is out. We can see the strength of the wind from that. In fact, we can zoom in there. Yep, we can see two white bikes parked up. Both riders are up wandering around, so that's the bit I like to see. Always going to be crashes in the sport. It's how quickly they get up and how safe they are once they get up and they're wheeling their bikes away and standing back against the tyre wall. This will take a little bit of time to clean up, no doubt. They'll have to send the crash vehicle out because these bikes are not so easy to push back as some of the smaller ones. You never know how. We'll see how that happens. 1 lap to go. It is the white flag out on the start-finish straight. So let's look back to who's who. Kyron O'Neill, Clinton Durham, George Vanel, Adrian Carr, Sloane Frost, James Patrick, Corbin Robinson, Theo Manley, Dale Nobby Clark, Tyler Walters, then Nixon Frost. This is on my list here. Paul Emerson, Ryan Emerson, Carlos Thompson and Jordan Walters. They were out after lap 1. So there's the checkered flag, number 18, Kyron O'Neill, 1:51.052 for his quickest lap. And through there in second place was Clinton Durham. George Vanel should be coming along. He's going to take third spot there. There it is. George Vanel goes across there in third spot there on the 6 machine. 6V, there's a couple of 6s out there. I think Sloane Frost was running a 6 as well. So Adrian Carr will be coming through. He did indeed on the 11 machine. Has got 4th position. Again, my timing screen takes a little bit of time to refresh and indicate what's happening. Adrian Carr, yep, and then we've got Sloane Frost, James Patrick in 6th spot. Expecting Corbin Robinson on number 8 to come through there in 7th. I'm going to say they're already over the start-finish line because we've only got 2 competitors left out on the circuit. So we just wait till that refreshes and bring you the updates. Who's this coming down pit lane on the other way around? We might be able to get an idea of, yeah, that's bike number 8, and that bike number 8 is still registered on the 6th lap there, whereas we've done 7. Oh, well, we might leave it at that.